Getting exposure for your digital artwork isn't as difficult as you might think. In this video, I'm going to show you some ways that I get exposure for my artwork using the internet. So there's a lot of free resources out there that you can use. I don't think it's really necessary to have to pay for an online gallery service or necessarily even have to have a website starting out. Eventually you probably should have your own website, and it should be pretty snazzy, but if you're just starting out as an artist or you're not very tech savvy, using one of these free resources to set up a free online gallery is probably going to be the best way to get exposure for your work. And you'd be surprised at how many people will look at your stuff if you just put it up there. The internet is kind of like a plant or a pet. You have to keep feeding it if you want to sustain it. And so you have to use a number of these websites, and you have to kind of go to them regularly and just kind of keep posting images and keep posting blog articles and different things. And eventually, over time, your plant or your pet will start to grow, and it'll become something more than it was when it started out. And these things just grow exponentially. The more you add to it, the more you're going to get out of it. So first of all, one of the most obvious ones is Facebook. And I know not everybody's into Facebook, but a lot of people use it, and it's a good channel to get exposure for your artwork. It's also a really easy way to set up an online portfolio for your artwork. Now, it's not as public, depending on what you have your settings set to for your preferences. It may or may not be searchable in Google. I'm not really sure. I don't think it's really as public as some of the other things like Flickr might be. But nevertheless, you would go to Facebook, and what you want to do is you want to set up a page. So you want to make a page for yourself. You don't want to just have you as yourself, and that might be kind of confusing if you don't use Facebook. But I have Aaron Rutten, which is me, just the person that my friends know, and it's not in any way artist related. And then I've got a separate page for Aaron Rutten, the artist, which is what we're looking at here. And so on this Facebook page, I can comment on different things I did. I'm showing this embellished canvas that I did here, and I get some feedback from different people. You can just kind of see what I'm up to here. I've got a really convenient place to store my photos, and Facebook's one of my more up-to-date websites as far as having the most current artwork. My website's not even really current. It's only goes up until December of last year, because it's just so much easier to post things to Facebook, and you get such an instant reaction from people. They comment on it almost immediately. So you can see I've got lots of artwork here. I've got years and years of artwork. I've got everything from last year, 2012, and everything from way back into 2010 and even beyond. So you can see it's really easy to make your own little gallery here without having to do too much work. And again, it's really easy to share with all your friends. You just post something to your page, and then people will, more often than not, comment on it almost immediately, and you'll be able to get a feel for what people like and what they don't like. Besides Facebook, there's the other obvious one, which is Twitter. And I don't think Twitter's as useful, to me at least, because you don't really get to share pictures in the same way. You get to share links and just kind of text blurbs about different things, so you can kind of share what's going on. I use this a lot in my website. I kind of have it embedded in there, and I use it as a little news feed thing. But that's just kind of it. All it really is like a little news feed. But you can share links. I've got, here's a little tweet that's about this iPhone case that I made, and I just kind of throw these out here and there every few days. Or, you don't want to over tweet. You don't want to be posting these things 5 a day. You probably want to do, one every 12 hours, or maybe one every day, or, change it up and go between these different websites. But you can see I've also kind of interwoven things together. My Twitter links to my Pinterest, and this Pinterest ultimately links to Zazzle, which is where you can actually buy the case. And so everything's kind of set up that way. And it makes it easier for people to find your stuff, but it also increases the likelihood that your website or your brand or your artwork are going to come up in a search, because the search engines are going to start to see that you're interconnected in this way. So a Twitter account's really easy to set up. You can just go through and tweet, and a tweet again is just kind of just a little blurb, but you can also share links to things to connect people. And if you want an example of my tweets, you can see I've got some posts about YouTube videos that I've made. I've got, again, some of the iPhone cases. I might have an art show or something, and I might let everybody know that they should come to it through that. So Twitter's really good, really simple. Next is Craigslist. That's another free resource. It's not really so good for making an image gallery or anything, but it's good for advertising individual pieces that you have, or advertising yourself as an artist to do artist services. If you're a portrait painter, or you do collages or murals or different things, you can advertise for yourself. And this is pretty easy. You just write up a little ad and put in whatever information you want, and be surprised. A lot of people look at Craigslist. You might not have it in your city, but even if people are nearby, you'd still be surprised. You can ship things, and you can do services over the internet. I get a lot of hits on my website from Craigslist, so I definitely recommend that. Another one is Deviantart. Deviantart is one of the most popular places to post your digital art. You post things and they go up to the main page immediately, and you get comments generally immediately. I think a lot of people will see your work right after it's posted, and you get good feedback. I only have a few pieces up here. I used to use it more, but I'm kind of investing my time in some other websites that I like more. And it would, with the amount of images that I have, I've got 500 or 600 images or something that I have that I use commercially, and then probably a lot more that are non-commercial. So there's not enough time in my lifetime to fill out all of these websites with my entire portfolio. So I kind of have to pick and choose, and you might have to do the same. You don't have to use all of these resources I'm outlining. You can just pick the ones that work best for what you're doing. Google Plus is just like Facebook. I don't really use it hardly ever. I post some stuff on it now and then, but it's kind of one of those things again where I don't see it really yielding much. I don't see it yielding that many fans, or I'm not really getting that much out of it yet. And when it becomes more popular, I might. So I went ahead and just set it up just in case. But it's another one of those things where I'm prioritizing my time and effort here, and I'm not really putting a lot of effort into this because I'm not getting much back from it. Pinterest, I feel, is a little more promising. I'm getting some pretty good hits and shares with Pinterest, and Pinterest is really easy to post to. There's usually a little icon. It's a little P or a little pin, and you click on it, and it just pretty much will... It's like putting a thumbtack in something and saving it for later. It's kind of posting on your bulletin board for other people to see different things that you like or things that you suggest. So I just kind of, I'm just posting here, just different artwork, just whenever I feel like posting it. And on my website, I have Pinterest buttons, so I can just go to my website and click on one of those and easily share these. Tumblr is a blog service, and this is free. You can write blogs, and then people will read them. You can write really, really long blogs like this, or you can just post videos or images. I've got this image, and then I have some commentary on the image. So rather than just repeat the content that I have on other sites, rather than repeat what I have on Pinterest and what I have on Twitter and Facebook, I'm trying to make some unique content for each of these websites. So for Tumblr, what's unique about it is that you get these insights that I wrote up that you wouldn't get from the gallery on Facebook, you know. So that's Tumblr, and people find blogs really useful, especially if you write about topics that they're interested in. They'll go and they'll read your blog, and you can link your blog to your websites and your galleries, and again, you're getting more exposure. We'll look at Etsy also, and Etsy is going to cost you money, but it's going to be like, 20 cents or something to list something. It's not very much. It would cost you a few bucks to list, a collection of things. Etsy's I'm kind of new to it, so again, it's one of those things where I haven't seen a whole lot of sales initially, so I'm still evaluating whether or not it's the right choice for me for what I do, because a lot of my stuff is digital, so I have to print it out, and then within Etsy there's a pretty oversaturated market of canvas prints. So I'm getting a lot of views as a portfolio piece, or as something that's drawing visitors to my website. It's definitely got value, and for what it's costing me, it's paying off in that sense. But I'm not getting like a ton of sales, but I also don't have a ton of pieces. And Etsy is one of those websites where you kind of have to have a multitude of things to make it more likely that you'll get sales. Zazzle is another really good website to use, and let's just go back here real quick and we'll check out Zazzle. Zazzle is sort of like Etsy in a way, where you can sell your products, except on Zazzle your products are print on demand, so you don't have to pay anything up front to make these. You can make all of these virtual products. This is just kind of giving somebody an idea of what this product will look like if it were to be printed, and they look pretty accurate. Sometimes they even look better in person than they do in the image. So you pretty much just upload your image, and it gives you some options to rearrange and resize it and get it looking exactly as you want. You can check every angle on it and make sure it's perfect. Then you can post it for sale, and you can decide how much you want to mark it up, and people will buy it. And I get a lot of sales from Zazzle, and I get a lot of people looking at my store. So Zazzle's really easy to set up and use. You kind of need to make a lot of products though to get sales, but it's a really easy way to set up your portfolio. And if you're wanting to sell prints on your website rather than manage it yourself, just have Zazzle do it. I mean, look how easy it is to set up your gallery and give everybody virtual previews. I mean, if you try to do this on your own, programming it on your website, this is going to take you forever. Or you're going to have to get some special plugins or something to do it. But this works really well, and it's really customizable. You can just keep adding products all the time, and I definitely get sales from this. So all kinds of stuff you can add as far as the different products. You can make shirts and prints and whatever you want, pretty much. Phone cases. So Zazzle's definitely worth checking out. Now we'll get into stock imagery. Now this is a little more advanced. Your stuff's going to have to be pretty good to be able to get accepted into these agencies, but not like super good. I mean, there's amateurs and professionals here. When I started out, some of the stuff I submitted was, not all that great. This image here I don't think is super spectacular compared to some of the later stuff that I've done, but it gets a lot of sales because people really connect to the image. So what stock imagery is basically imagery that people put online so that other people can search for it and then download it and use it for commercial or non-commercial purposes. So this is a good example. This is like one of my most, or probably the most popular image I have. It's an illustration of the solar system that I painted with Corel Painter, and people all around the world daily pretty much are downloading this they're going and they're searching on this website for solar system because they need an image of the solar system for maybe a book or a website, lots of whatever purpose they use it for, doesn't really matter. And then once they've downloaded it, I get a royalty. And what a royalty is it's a payment that you can collect for each download. And there's no limit to how many times somebody can download something. So you can make royalties off of each image forever, for the rest of your life. So if someone downloads this image 1,000,000 times, I'll get 1,000,000 royalties. If they download it 100 times, I'll get 100 royalties. And each royalty could be 33 cents or $1 or $5 or $22. It depends on how the person's going to use the image and how much they're going to print it. And you can even sell the image entirely. If I wanted to sell this to somebody and they wanted to buy it, I could say, okay, I'll sell it to you for $6,000 or something. And if somebody wanted to pay that much for it, they could buy it. And it goes for all of these. So there are 1,000,001 different stock image websites, and some are better than others. I really only make money off of about 3 or 4, and then I'm used probably about 6 to 8 total. It's kind of a numbers game, You have to try it out and see if it works, see if you have a niche. It's mostly photographers doing this stuff, and then the artists that are doing it are also mostly doing vector art. So if you're a digital painter, you kind of have a pretty good niche here. There aren't a whole lot of digital painters, and there's a lot of people who want digital paintings. So if you can make stuff that's of a professional enough quality that people will buy, you'll get a lot of free sales here. So what their criteria is your image can't be blurry, it can't be really sloppily put together. I mean, it's got to look good and it's got to look professional. And you can try uploading some stuff, and if they don't accept it, it's aggravating, kind of bums you out, but you just have to keep trying. So if you're not getting stuff accepted, make better work, or study a little more into techniques and things, or look at some of the work that is uploaded and try to make your stuff as good as that. There's some of these agencies accepted my stuff and some didn't, and there's some like iStock Photo. It took me 4 years or so to finally get something that they would take, and then now they'll take pretty much anything because they see that I sell a lot of stock art. Dreamstime is another really popular stock image website. You can see some stats here. This same solar system image, I'm selling this same image on 2 different websites, more than 2 actually, as many websites as I can find to sell it on. It's had 74 downloads, so that's 74 different people who have downloaded it in a variety of countries for 74 different purposes. Maybe it went to 74 different school books. It's been viewed by 108,000 people. And then you can see, look at how many thousands of views I'm getting just for these few images on these websites. Now, given people probably in most of these cases are just looking at it for half a second and then looking on at something else, but it's about exposure, right? And it's every little drop is a drop in the bucket. And all of these things have a minor impact individually. You're thinking like, what's tweeting going to do every now and then? Probably nothing. But if you have a Facebook thing, you tweet, you run a Craigslist ad, you post on Deviantart, you do the Google Plus, you do all these things plus another 10 or 20 more, it's not going to eat up that much time in your day. It's probably time that you're spending watching TV or reading a book or something that you could be using to be more productive and put yourself out there. And once you've done all these things, just let them simmer, and they'll start to collect. Again, you want to feed the internet now and then and go through and add posts to each of these sites, so that you keep your appearance up and everything, and people don't get bored or forget about you. But other than that, this stuff just starts to grow, and you'll start to see that you're going to get more and more exposure for your work. And again, this is all free stuff you can do. So if you're wondering why people aren't looking at your work, this is why you're not on any of these websites. And as soon as you are, you're going to start to get instant gratification. So I hope this helps. I'll go into more detail in other videos about how to set up your portfolio for a stock image agency and submit it, and I'll go into more detail about Etsy and some of these other websites too. But this is just kind of a general overview for you to get a feel at what can be done. But most of all, I would recommend Facebook for people who want to set up a free portfolio, or Deviantart is also really good. So anyways, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for my next video.